Welcome to the Pewtercast. This is the InstantCast Show for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Dallas Cowboys. And guys, we are coming fresh off the game. I don't think an InstantCast show has ever been done as fast off a game as this particular one has been. Usually it's a couple hours. You know, the show normally goes live at 10 o'clock at night, and if it's been a 1 o'clock game, you know, game's over about 4:30, so it's been about 6 hours. If it's a 4 o'clock game, game's over about 7, so it's been about 3. Tonight was an 8:30 game, and so we pushed back the start of the show till right after the game's over. So the game's only been off for, 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. So give people a little bit of time to get out and, use the bathroom, get a drink of water, maybe collect themselves. And here we are at the Instant Cast. Now, guys, this is a call-in show. If you guys are new to the show, how this works is obviously we've not gotten to watch the press conferences yet. We've not gotten to watch any real, game film other than what we got to see on TV. Or if you're there live, you didn't even get to see that. There was a few plays I rewound and was able to pick up a little bit of film on, but don't have that much going into the show. Now, here's what you've stumbled into. This is the only, at least as far as I'm aware, this is the only live reaction fan call-in show for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, there's a couple other shows out there that you can call in. You can leave a voicemail, and you can go expletive city. For everybody who's listening, everybody who's in, I want to make this super clear, guys. This is not the Bucs Uncensored podcast. Okay, this is a PG-13 show, so please don't call in here with an expletive-laden thing. I don't want to have to go in and beep everybody out, okay? Let's just have an intelligent conversation about the Bucs, all right? Because, hey, listen, I like to listen to these things with my kids in the car, and, it's mostly just because the kids are always in the car with me. I'm almost never alone. So that's where we are with that. The other thing, guys, is let's get to what we got to say and get off. I got a feeling there's going to be lots of people calling in tonight. At least a handful of people anyway. I want to say welcome to everyone who is in the chat room. I want to say welcome to everyone who is listening live. You can always catch this show Sunday nights, 10 o'clock, or right after an 8:30 game at mixler.com/thepewtercast. Now, we have but one phone line. We don't have multiple, so if somebody else is already on the line, just chill out. It's okay. As soon as that line clears, you give me a call in. We'll get you guys on the show. But, guys, listen, here's the deal. This is your show. To all of you guys who are listening in the chat room, all of you guys who are listening live, wherever you are, mixler.com/thepewtercast, wherever you are, this is your show. You're going to get to pick what we talk about. And I've got a feeling I know exactly what we're going to talk about. Already in the chat room, they're talking about people coming in being sad, people coming in being pissed, people missing DeMar Dotson, people being disappointed. Yeah, guys, hey, listen, we're all feeling it. I was just talking to some of the people who were here a little bit right before we started the show. And that's what we were saying was, it's really... I mean, part of the idea of the Instant Cast is we get the raw emotion, right? We get the raw feeling, and man, we should be feeling it all. We should be pissed. We should be let down. We should be disappointed. We should be sad. And at the same time, guys, let's remember the Tampa Bay Buccaneers competed. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. So, guys, I want to go ahead and open up the phone line to anyone who wants to call. I had somebody call in a minute ago, and I couldn't get to the window to take the call. So, but the phone line is open. You can call me at 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. Would love to talk to you guys. We'll talk about anything you want to having to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you want to talk about Jameis Winston tonight? You want to talk about Ezekiel Elliott? I don't know. Let's find out who this is, see what we're talking about. You are on the Instant Cast Show. Who are we talking to tonight?
It's John.
What's up, John? How's it going, man?
It's going all right.
I see some of your comments from the chat room. You're looking a little pissed, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. So talk to me, man. Talk to me. What's going on in your head right now?
Biggest jackass award goes to the defense.
Yeah.
And they fucked this game up.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's a hard way. I hear it. I hear you going, I get it.
See, here's the thing. I even got it off work 2 hours early just to get so I could be able to watch this game.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm supposed to just spend now be getting off work.
Right.
And I don't know. We held into it as usual. Third quarter was our quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Just come next month when we play them in the divisional round, we got to do a better job of stopping Zeke Elliott.
Well, I like that attitude. Come next month when we play him in the divisional round. I like where your head's at in light of all of this going on here tonight. It's pretty fin.
We knew that if we lost this game, we're still going to make the playoff.
Yeah.
That's the 6th seed since Atlanta won, even though we knew that San Francisco won for good.
Yeah, we are still very much.
Carolina and New Orleans.
Yep.
And I got a good feeling we're still gonna win those games. We beat the hell out of them last night.
Yeah, we still are very much in this playoff hunt. That is for sure. We did not need to win out. We are doing much better. Would have been doing much better had we won this particular game. But
if we won out, we would have had a higher seed, and therefore we wouldn't have had to go into Dallas.
Right.
Again.
Right.
We needed the Giants to lose today, which didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
We need Carolina to beat Washington tomorrow, so we don't slip out.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big game. Certainly tomorrow night's Monday night game. It's time to root for our NFC South brethren over there with the Panthers. As much as that may kill some of our people as they're listening, but definitely for sure, our playoff hopes are not dead. But man, this one sucks on a bunch of levels so far. You know.
Yep. Like, how the hell can you give up 200 yards passing and almost 200 yards rushing?
Yeah.
And most of it's all in the first half.
Yeah.
So almost a half. They give up 320 yards in the first half, which is more than which is the same thing they've given up in the last 5 games.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly that first half was a rough first half. I mean, the offense only had the ball 6-7 minutes in the entire first half. You can't do much with that. You really can't. And they look. Ezekiel Elliott. For as much as I hate him right now, that guy is a fan-freaking-tastic player. He is something else. And Des Bryant. I mean, they've got a good team, and that offensive line. Now I got to tell you, I thought they were playing a little bit dirty tonight. I really did. There was a lot of non-penalty calls that never got made, and man, I really wish they would have. Yeah.
A lot of pass interference and holding calls. And once again, Jerry Jones blows the referees, and therefore they're going to call it the Cowboys' way, like always. Yeah.
Officiating, I got to watch a lot of the other games today, and officiating this week seemed really bad all the way across the league.
See, even though my girlfriend's not really into football, even she could plainly see it clear as daylight that the Cowboys like to suck a little too much, and they're just too cocky. Everybody knows it. And it's like the whole Cam Newton thing, him crying because he's getting hit. Well, football done. Expected.
Yep.
This is a ridiculous game.
I certainly get that emotion.
They're screaming at them on the sideline. Oh, you just wait until they get. That's going to be one quiet ride home.
It's going to be something. Here's the thing. And that's a good point. This ride home, and that's going to be the question. That's going to be the question of what really happens is how are the Bucs going to recover? Jameis, Jameis is going to get in there. He's going to watch himself some mad tape. He's going to have to figure out what went wrong today. Because he was great for a quarter, and the other 3 quarters, he couldn't get it going. Now, granted, for 2 of those other 3 quarters, he wasn't on the field very much at all. But, that he's going to have to figure it out. And I think he will. We know enough about Jameis to know that he will. But, man, it sucks right now. So
actually, this is kind of a good thing. maybe you hate saying that losing is a good thing, but look at the way we've done. We won the last 5 games. Nobody would have predicted we would have done that.
Right.
Even though I actually said that we could. Because I've been saying ever since the halfway point, or before that we would win these games. Dallas would be the only threat on this schedule to lose. And then at the beginning of the season, I even said the Rams game was going to be a trap game. The last 3 years, that's what it's been.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how bad we come close to, we know we're going to beat them. We've got the calls against us. That's really the only 2 trap games I've seen this year. Next year's going to be a hell of a lot harder. Actually, the next 2 years, we have to go back to Dallas in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be played on 4 times within the next 3 years. So, but it's, it could be a blessing because, high off the 5-game winning streak.
Hey,
they're
listen.
They're going to get that bitter taste of that stuff, that losing back in their mouth. They're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even the best teams get beat, guys, right? Is that not true? This team went on a 5-game winning streak, and who the hell thought that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to go on a 5-game winning streak, especially after going 3-5 through the first half of the season, especially after how we were playing at the beginning of the season, especially after the absolute routing that we took by the Atlanta Falcons at that home game on Thursday night. Who would have thought we'd go 5-1? And nobody can take that away from us. Nobody will ever be able to take that away from us. So, John, man, thank you so much for your call tonight, man. I appreciate your time, brother.
No problem, man.
All right, man. You have a good one. All right, guys. That's how it works. That's a phone call. You guys call in. You pick what we're talking about. And to what John was just talking about, I mean, he's absolutely right. I love his attitude. Like, listen, when we're going to face these guys next month, we're going to roll right back into Dallas's house next month because he just has that much faith. And guys, it could happen. Mathematically, it still could happen. Now, I don't have all the numbers right here in front of me to be able to quote it to you. I don't bring those in for an instant cast, but I know that it can still happen. We've looked at it before. So, all right, guys, phone line is open. What do you guys want to talk about? 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. Man, that was a rough first half, wasn't it? That was a rough first half. Rendax over in the chat room says, grab your pitchforks, everybody, and meet me at Gosder Sherless's house. All right, let's talk about Sherless. Let's do that. We'll go ahead and go there. Gosder Sherless, man, he I got to tell you, I really look forward to dissecting the game film, and he's somebody I'm gonna be watching as soon as his coach's film gets up. I'm gonna be on it because I want to see just how bad he was, because there were key plays he got beat on. You know what Gosder Sherless looked like to me tonight, honestly, from the plays that I saw, is he just looked tired. He looked done. He looked past his prime. I made a note. I was like, I think it's time for him to retire. I mean, I don't know what his contract situation looks like, but, I mean, he's, I was looking, he's actually got a pretty good post-NFL career plan, set out. But these last couple weeks, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason that DeMar Dotson has been, the starter over Gosder Sherless. There's a reason that almost every time Sherless comes in, it seems like we have an extra, we have a penalty that comes in. Apparently this is his last year under contract with us. He becomes a free agent next year. Hopefully he becomes a retired agent next year. I have no ill will towards Gosder, guys. I really don't. I mean, now he kind of pissed me off tonight. I got to be honest with you. But I have no ill will towards the man, as a whole. I just think he's done. I mean, do you guys remember watching Peyton Manning? That was a brutal year to watch him. Oh, that's too soon, Ren. I can't even say that on air. He's talking about somebody just dying because of Gosder. I mean, because of Gosder. Oh man. Yeah. Is Gosder done, guys? I think so. They brought in Leonard Wester, and I saw it on Twitter. I saw everybody was saying it. I was saying it. Of why haven't we brought this guy in yet? Why haven't we brought this guy in yet? I mean, they brought him in. He seemed to do fine. They pulled Gosder out. Is it time? There's a reason we've invested in Wester, right? There's a reason we've invested in Caleb Beninock. There's a reason we've invested in some of these deeper. Our O-line is not a depth challenged position on our team, right? O-line's pretty okay, and we train our guys. Coach Warhop has trained our guys to be able to play in just about any position across the line. So, what happens next week? Let's just fast forward. Is DeMar Dotson, let's say he's still out on concussion protocol or whatever he's been. Does Wester come in to start? I think I'd like to see what the kid has. However, that said, guys, next week we are playing for super, super important football. Important football, relevant football is not done for the Buccaneers. It's not done for the Buccaneers. You guys want to call in? What do you guys want to talk about? The number is 864-729-BUCKS. It's 864-729-2827. Oh. Can we talk about Jameis for a little bit? Saying in the chat room, we can't let this L turn into another L. We can't let this loss turn into another loss. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. We've got to come out. Listen, here's the deal. Okay, I hate to say it. I hate to you win 5 in a row. That's a good run. If it was any other team, what I would say is they're due for a loss. Right? Now, I'm not going to say that about our Buccaneers. I'm not going to say that we were due for a loss, but I would absolutely say that about any other team. I mean, and guys, let's take stock of what we did, okay? Let's really take stock. We'll do that. I'm going to make a note. Take stock of what we did. Let's do that as soon as this phone call comes out. Who's calling? Where is it? There it is. You are on with the InstantCast. Who are we talking to tonight?
It's Craig in Vegas again. How you guys
Craig
doing?
in Vegas, man. I was hoping you'd called in, man. What is on your mind for tonight, brother?
That was a tough one to take. You know what sucks more is that we didn't play great and still had a chance. And it's just the fourth quarter, nothing went right. Obviously, the O-line broke down. I think also, a little bit, hey, Evans and Brake can only do so much. You need some other options out there as well, too.
Yeah.
I think Jameis maybe early in this game tried to do a little bit too much with the lights on. Mm-hmm. Everybody watching Sunday Night Football, I think he maybe tried to a little bit too hyped. I think the throws were a little off as well, too, but when they did have time, we saw in the third quarter, they chewed that Cowboys secondary apart.
Yep.
It's just, it just sucks. You get that close. The defense held its ground there in the second half, didn't allow a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They held in the field goals, and that's what you want. They, even when they didn't, they gave them a chance. They got the ball back. I know they had no timeouts, but they still had a chance at the end. That's all you can ask for. Listen, is this team perfect? No. Mm-hmm. Are they as talented as Dallas? No. They're still missing a couple pieces.
Yep.
But for what they've got, and they didn't do that bad. It just. A loss sucks after you win 5 in a row, but like I said, listen, you got to let this one go. You got to, one less day to prepare, and you got to go get New Orleans. New Orleans looked a little bit hot today with, but I think also Arizona didn't care as well too. I think that team gave up after the Miami loss, but listen, they're close. Their team is really, really close.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have to address, they need Dotson back. As much as Dotson was not great early this year, you saw why that, I think also, too, this also goes back to, the J.R. Sweezy injury that nobody really knows about. This is where I think it showed up today. I mean, you needed that extra lineman out there.
Right.
Sweezy can play a couple different roles, and Goss just got shown up. They let the rookie play at the end as well too. But I still say I'm not totally. I don't think Doug's in 100% great shape or doesn't have the burst that he once had last year. I don't think he looks, the hamstring. I don't think it's 100%, but it stinks because you didn't play that great and you still had a chance to win on the road.
And Right. And here's the thing, let's break down a couple of things you were just talking about there. One, talking about Doug Martin, we'll just work backwards. I think this might have been Doug Martin's best game since he came back. I really do. And I'd have to go back and look at it, but
he's still missing a half a step that he had last year.
I would agree with you on that, but since he's come back from that hamstring injury, I think this might be his best game he's had so far. But I agree with you, he's not 100% back. And as we say, we've pointed out on this show and a couple other shows, he's running behind a different offensive line this year. And there's a lot to be accounted for with that. Now, Doug Martin is also, and there was a play. Let me see if I can find it in my notes because I made a note on it. There was a play when Doug Martin went up. Outside from just his runs, his blocking has been great. And there was one where he completely took on one of those defensive linemen. A guy who was easily twice his size, and completely stopped him. It was just a great play. It was early in the first half. But I don't see it off a glance here. But so Doug Martin, and I agree with you. He's still off half a step, but I did like this game for him for as much as they would give it to him. And with Doug Martin, it was either that he was getting stuffed at the line, or he was breaking off for 8 or 9 yards, 10 yards, which is why I like that for Doug. You talk about the offensive line, talking about the J.R. Sweezy thing. You know what I didn't notice? And I'd love for somebody to come back and tell me if I'm wrong on this. I didn't notice any of the jumbo packages come out. Where they put in an extra offensive lineman, or they stacked the tight ends really close to the line. Like, I just didn't notice that. They may have done it. I just didn't see it.
First and goal when Jameis got the personal foul play.
Yeah.
And that play got ripped. That play got ripped apart. The only thing I'd also like to see more is in the red zone is let Jameis roll out a little more. I just think on that every time in the red zone it's a first down run, and then they're. I just like to see the boot action. They ran it actually last year against Dallas. They ran the naked boot, and he scored the game-winning touchdown on it. I just think down there, him, outside the pocket is a better situation. And because that jump, I think they did go jumbo. I don't know if they brought the O-line in, but it was a really tight bunch set. I don't think they had a wideout in there. Obviously, the play just got ripped apart.
Right.
And then Jameis had the penalty as well too. But I just think in the red zone, I'd like to see him get a little run pass option a little bit on that first down. Let him boot out of there because it worked well last year. But obviously in the fourth quarter, listen, you got to give Dirk credit. He made a good call on the screenplay to Sims.
Yeah.
Brait and Sherlis both missed the block. Gostis was the main one, but you could see Brait as well too. Brait missed the linebacker too, and they both made the tackle. If they both just even stay in front of their guys, maybe that sets up maybe an extra 8 to 10 yards there. Maybe it's a different situation, a different end of the game. And the defense came back, got the ball. Had for the taking. They just didn't take it tonight. And but that's a team that's still missing a few different pieces. But are they on the come? Yes. Are they going in the right direction? Hell yes. We were a little bit maybe 5 in a row, a little bit. We were hoping against hope maybe we get this, and we had a chance. That's what things too. But we have to be realistic. We're still missing a couple pieces. But can we still make the playoffs? Of course we can.
Yep.
But you got to look at the big picture with this. This franchise is finally on the right direction, and everybody's in going the same direction. And they'll add some pieces to it, in the offseason. I really think that the sky's the limit. There's no one else in this division that's on the runway. They are going up.
Mm-hmm.
I the Falcons are having a good year this year, but they'll still implode. I think somewhere down the road. But this team is on the right direction finally, which we couldn't say that under Lovey. We couldn't say it under Schiano. This team's in the right direction right now, which is all you can ask for the bad of years as we've had now for the last, since the delusional 10-6 season under Raheem, when there was a lot of, hocus pocus going on that season. We knew that.
Yeah, and that was the Bucs trending up into the right, and that's why all season long I've taken a look at the season in terms of quarters. We went 1-3 in the first quarter, 2-2 in the second quarter. We wound up going 4-0 in the third quarter of the season, and now at best we're going to go 3-1 in the fourth quarter. But that's not a bad. That's a trending in the right direction. We're going up and to the right, and that's what we want to keep seeing from this team, ultimately to lead us to the Super Bowl. And if we can make it into the playoffs, and here's the deal, we make it into the playoffs, season is 0-0 at that point, right?
Yeah, if anybody watched the Thursday night game in Seattle, if we were a 6 seed and we had to go to Seattle, very winnable game.
Yeah,
that O line up there. I mean, you think our O line has trouble? That O line is awful. In the Rams, as bad as that game, the score might have showed 20. The Seattle didn't move the ball. I mean, it wasn't that they had a couple plays here and there, but Russell Wilson was still getting hit pretty good. So I'm telling you, they sneak in that 6 seed. Where do they go to Detroit? Where even Green Bay as well too. Listen, any of those teams are beatable. And listen, if they rematch with Dallas, who knows? You never know that. Now that they've adjusted to it and they've seen it once now.
Yeah.
There's no one in the NFC that you say on any given day can't be beat. Everybody's flawed.
Yep. Yeah.
Everybody has a flaw on that team.
Exactly. And don't underestimate, if we go up and the last caller, John, was talking about that as well, saying that we'll meet Dallas again in the next, in the next round with the playoffs next month. Don't underestimate the idea that we now have experience with this team, and that the next game could be completely different. And they're saying over in the chat room that if we go in as the 6th seed, we will play Dallas because they'll be the number 1 seed, presumably. So
no, you don't. No. You'd play them. Oh, you play them in the second round if you won your first round. Remember, the first 2 get a bye. Yeah,
play at Dallas. Yeah. Right, it'd play at Dallas as the 6th seed. In that second round, exactly. So, but regardless of wherever we would play them, we get in and play them at some point. The fact that we now have experience with them, that is going to speak volumes for what it's going to be for this team to go out and win. And honestly, if we had to pick between winning in the playoffs and winning now, I'm going to pick winning at the playoffs. But we've got to get into the playoffs first. And the team will tell you we're not worried about the playoffs. We're just worried about, now they're worried about the Saints. That's where they got to get into. But I don't know. I think they need to spend some time worrying about this game and figuring out exactly what was going wrong. And what was, we can only blame bad officiating so much. We can only blame some dirty plays by Dallas so much. We can only blame things so much. Like at some point, the team's got to turn the finger back on themselves and figure out what it was that they didn't do right this particular game.
Hey, listen, you're down 17-3. Everybody's saying, well, this game might become a blowout pretty quick. And you had 2 chances to win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
You can't ask for much more than that. You had the lead going into the fourth quarter. Your defense sets you up at midfield on a turnover to either tie the game or take the lead at that point. At some point or another, the offense, has to, the O-line has to step up. And listen, it was bad. We saw where the weakness was on there as well too. But when it was 17-3, there were a lot of people, jumping ship. But you know what? They had a chance in the fourth quarter. That's all you can ask for in a road game. You had a chance in the fourth quarter to win the game. They just didn't do it today. But you know what? They'll learn from it. They'll get better. They're still, overall, they're a very young team, and they'll be okay. That O-line, some of the young guys on there, maybe they watch that Dallas O-line a little bit, play a little bit, and you know what? Maybe let's hope for they sprinkle in a couple more first-round picks or some first or second rounders. They can get to that level because they've got the nucleus with Marpet, Donovan Smith as well too. I still like Hawley in there as well too. Maybe they'll upgrade and put him to another position, but they've got the pieces in place to be what Dallas has. They just got to add a couple more as well too. Yeah, but you never know.
They'll get there. Well, Craig, out in Vegas, thank you so much for your phone call in tonight. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Yeah, guys. Hey, he's absolutely right. Hey, phone line's open. You guys want to call in, you go ahead and do it. The number is 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. You pick what we talk about, and until then, I'll talk about what I want to talk about. And, just bouncing off of what he was talking about. Listen, we were down 17-3. We had a not a great first half, guys. Let's just face it. It was not a great first half, but we come out. We had a fantastic third quarter. It's a big quarter for us, right? I've been saying all season long that the third quarter tends to be the quarter that defines how the game comes out. It didn't in this particular game, but I still think that third quarter tends to be the most important quarter that we have outside of the final quarter, because that's where, things are won and lost. But as far as setting a tempo for what's going to happen. All right, but let's also look at it. Our defense, for as much as Dallas moved the ball, okay, and that's what I felt like the whole time, was Dallas was just able to move the ball unimpeded, right? Like they'd get the ball and they could pass it. The yards after contact that these guys were getting, both on the run and in the pass game, that the Cowboys kept getting, was phenomenal. I'd love to go back and know exactly how many yards they got, how many yak yards they got. Maybe Chris from former Bucs Brief is listening, and he's going to have that number up for me, and he'll tweet me back. I don't know. But I'd love to know what that was, because it felt like it was huge. Felt like it was absolutely huge. Felt like the Dallas Cowboys were coming out and just marching the ball, taking their sweet bippy time, and marching the ball down the field. But you know what? At the end of the day, our defense held them to 6 field goals. At least, I'm sorry, let me take that back. 6 field goal attempts. That's 6 times. 6 times that the Dallas Cowboys could have gone into the end zone, that our defense stood up and said, no, you don't. You sit back down. We're not taking it. You're too far. I mean, they pulled a big old Gandalf, right? They grabbed that big mother and stick, slammed it in the ground, and said, you shall go no further, or whatever. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Okay, I think that was Yoda doing Gandalf on a Buccaneers podcast. That's awesome. So, anyway, guys, listen. At the end of the day, I was just looking on Twitter. Bucks Princess Nikki, guest on the show from a couple weeks ago, was just saying the exact same thing. She said, we won 5 games in a row and still have a winning record. Don't fall back into old habits for losing by 6 to one of the best NFL teams. She also says, we made plenty of mistakes, but we didn't get blown out like we have in the past. Guys, she's absolutely right. And that's what Craig, I think, was just talking about. And that's what I was actually getting ready to talk about before he called in, was we didn't get blown out, guys. We competed, which is what we wanted. You remember, you guys, I hate to drudge up old stuff, but I remember when they had the press conference where they announced that Lovie Smith was being fired or had been fired, and Jason Light comes out and he says, listen, when you go, whatever the record was, 6 and whatever, fans have waited long enough. It's okay to be building. It's okay to be coming back as long as you're competing. Like that was kind of the litmus test that Jason Light kind of put out there, was you've at least got to be competing. Let me tell you what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did today, guys, against what is arguably the best team in the league. You might say it's the Patriots. You might say the Patriots. What, the best team in the NFC anyway, right? The Bucs competed. Now, I'm not satisfied. You guys got to understand that, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not satisfied. I'm not going to come out here and go, oh, well, it's okay if they lost. They competed. No. That's horse shit, okay? I'm not leaving this game. I'm not going to sleep easy tonight, guys, okay? I'm not, I'm not just patting people on the back saying, oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. At least we competed. Okay, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is at least we competed. All right, guys, what do you want to talk about? You call in 864-729-BUCKS. It's 864-729-2827. Phone line is open. You guys pick. You pick. What do we want to talk about? Can you talk? It's easier to talk after a win than a lose. Believe you me, after a win than a loss. Easier by far. Oh, man. Okay, let's see here. What do we got? What's on tap? Jameis. We were talking about Jameis. Let's go back to him for just a minute. Can't do much when you only have the ball for 6 or 7 minutes in an entire half. All right, let's just put that on the table right now. But the big thing I want to talk about with Jameis, that headbutt. Was it really a headbutt, guys? Was it? I mean, was it really? I don't know. I mean, my kid does that to me sometimes, right? Like, it's not really a headbutt. He gets right up in my face when he gets frustrated. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay, fine. It was a headbutt. But did you see, and listen, there may be no excuse for the headbutt. That's probably right. But what that guy, I don't even know who it was that he did it on. But what that guy was doing, I think it was Doug Martin. Maybe it was Charles Sims. It was one of our running backs. Dallas is playing dirty, guys. And I'm going to call it out. I think there were times, you go back, the game film will bear it out. Dallas is playing dirty. They're playing, it was, and now this is football, guys, okay? It's football. Football tends to get dirty, and that's fine. It's ball. But it's dirty. You know what I loved about that? You know what I loved was I loved seeing Jameis's I loved seeing his passion. You know, I loved seeing his, you're not going to mess with the guy on my team. You're not going to get out there and do that. And sometimes you just got to take the penalty. Now, Jameis kind of let he let his emotions get the best of him. You know, but before that, did you guys notice what was happening in that play? Was Jameis went out there, handed the ball off, I think it was Doug Martin. Doug Martin goes in and he gets stuffed and he gets pushed back. Jameis jumps into the fray. He doesn't run away like a scared little sissy Tom Brady. He jumps into the fray and tries to save his man and push him forward a little bit. He tries to throw his own block, Jameis Winston does. And then when things go south, Jameis Winston turns out, puts on his big boy pants and says, "You're not going to push us around like that." And, yeah, okay, fine. It wasn't this big, hard, rough, like knocking each other out, but you can't do that. I understand. It's one of those things I sit there and I go, okay, yeah, Jameis was in the wrong, but I get it. It's like when I got called into the principal's office, about 2 weeks ago, I guess, for something that my kid had done. And when I actually heard the whole story, I looked at my kid and I went, okay, you were wrong, but you were right. You were wrong. But son, I understand. I want you to do that again. He got called in. Somebody did something to him, and honestly, what he did was he defended himself. And my kid just happens to be bigger than most every other kid because, well, I'm his father. And he's got some strength on him. But that's kind of the way I feel about Jameis. He was wrong, but I kind of liked seeing it. I want him to go out there and don't get the penalty. But stand up, do what you got to do, protect your people. Stand up and do what you got to do. As far as other stuff with Jameis tonight, Jameis, I can hear him in his press conference right now. No, I've not watched it. I want to know how many times he's going to say, let's make this a drinking game. Every time Jameis says, I got to protect the ball better, take a drink. Got to protect the ball, take a drink. I'm going to guess he says it at least 4 times throughout his press conference. I don't know. I'll listen as soon as I'm done here. But yeah, he's got to protect the ball. I think he ended up the game with 4 interceptions or something like that. Okay, take one away. All right, guys, let's be fair. Let's be honest. That first interception or I don't know, whatever it was, the one that ended the half. Okay, the one that ended the half, that interception. Yes, I know it counts as an interception. I get it. But it was like a garbage time interception. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the Hail Mary pass. There were 3 seconds left in the half. Like, what's he going to do? What else is he going to do? And it's not like the other guy got the ball and ran it back for a touchdown on his side. It was a non-factor in the game. It was just simply the interception that left, that ended the half. Now, I mean, it prevented a touchdown, so yeah, we understand it. But it was little more than a pass breakup. Is really what the net effect of it on the game was. Little more than a pass breakup. So Jameis has, I'm going to say 3 interceptions. It's not good. Jameis took a few sacks. Offensive line, guys, come on now. I know that they were dirty. I know that there were plays not getting played. Or I know there were penalties not getting called. And there were plays probably not getting played as well. But, yeah. Jameis. Can we talk about a good player? How about you guys? Yeah, they're saying in the chat room, Hail Mary interceptions don't count. I agree with you. Also saying Cameron Brate. Okay, let's talk about good players right now. Let's talk about good players. You want to talk about good players? Call in and talk to me about them. 864-729-BUCKS. It's 864-729-2827. Would love to talk with you about that. Good players. Cameron Brate, absolutely one of them. He now leads the NFL in tight ends for touchdowns. At least that's what they were saying on the broadcast. I don't know if that's fully true or not. I'm going to go with them and assume that it is. But, Cameron Brate, man, there were some big things that he came out with. There were some big plays, big time catches in coverage. Making America great again, right? That's what we say about him. I'm looking something up about Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate, 13 points for fantasy. That's awesome. I know, we don't care about fantasy in light of an actual game. I get that. But you know what? That fantasy points do talk about what a player did, They really do. They talk about how a player played. And 13 points for a tight end is not a bad day. He had 5 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. Mr. Cameron, I went to Harvard. I'm going to be a Wall Street something or other Cameron Brate. That's his post-NFL career plan. Cameron Brate. Big catches in traffic. You know who else? I think Cameron Brate was probably our best player on offense. I'm going to say it. If this was the What the Buck podcast, they would be doing their skulls and swords or whatever, swords and skulls. And I'm going to give the offensive sword, the offensive MVP to Cameron Brate. How about the defensive MVP? I've got mine. Who do you guys think? Drop it in the chat room. I just want to see. What do you guys think? Best player offense, best player defense tonight. To me, Brent Grimes. I think Brent Grimes was one of our best players in defense today. He had several big pass breakup saving touchdowns. He was all over Dez throughout the night. He was all over, there were times I saw him all over Witten. Keith Tandy, I thought Keith Tandy had a good night tonight too. Noticed him on a ton of plays. Wish you would have gotten an interception there towards the end of the game to end it while we were up. But nevertheless, I thought Keith Tandy had a good game. But Brent Grimes, I think gets my defensive MVP for the game. So it was all over Dez Bryant. Yeah, he's frustrating him. Yeah. Dez Bryant was not liking Brent Grimes today, for sure. Phone line is open. 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. In the chat room, they are saying Robert Ayers. Robert Ayers is fantastic. Robert Ayers had, a sack and a half, I want to say. I know he got at least one. Robert Ayers. Man. Robert, can we just go ahead and call Robert? I don't know. Robert Ayers, Brian Anger. Let's let them share the award for most valuable offseason pickup, free agent signing that we had. And I might even edge that out to Robert Ayers because I think Robert Ayers has had more to do with the change in culture at Tampa Bay than Brian Anger has been solid. He's been fantastic, and he better make it in the Pro Bowl, or there's something wrong with it. But I do believe that Robert Ayers has had more to do with the changing culture than just about anybody else on the team, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that's true. All right, so let's review. What have we talked about today? We've had a rough first half. I mean, not the podcast. The team had a rough first half. It's hard to do much with just seven minutes in the entire first half. We talked about Jameis Winston. We talked about Doug Martin a little bit. We talked about Brent Grimes. We talked about Gosder. I think Gosder's done. I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. It's time. Like Rafiki, it is time. Jameis. We talked a little bit about Jameis again. Okay. Here's a question. I'm going to throw this out there, and I'd love for you guys. You can shoot me an email to thepewtercast@gmail.com. You can tweet me at thepewtercast. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/thepewtercast. And here's my question for you guys. What was up with Jameis tonight? Was he just too emotional? Were the lights too bright? Did he put too much pressure on himself playing in this big Sunday night game? I mean, my God, think about how important this game was, how much it really came up, because this is a game that got, a couple of weeks ago, it got flexed. And oh my God, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had their game with the Cowboys flexed to 8:30. Oh, it's going to be such a big game. Oh, it's such an important game. And you know what it was? It was. So did Jameis crack under the lights? Were they too bright? Was it too hot of a game for Mr. 22-year-old Jameis Winston? Was he just too emotional? Was Dallas just all up in his face and the offensive line couldn't block for him at all? Because, Dallas was in his face all night. Was he frustrated? Was he not ready? He ate his scrambled eggs this morning. At least twice I saw him scrambling out there and getting away from people. So I know he had him some scrambled eggs. So what was going on with Jameis? That's a good question. Anybody out there in the chat room, you guys want to call in and talk to me about it? Answer that question? You can do it at 864-729-BUCKS. It's 2827. Or if you're listening to this on the podcast or Rat Pack Sports Radio, iHeartRadio, YouTube, if you're listening to us after the show, shoot me a tweet, shoot me an email. Saying in the chat room that he tries to do too much at times. It's kind of like the Rams Thursday night games. He's getting into fights. He's just trying to do too much. Could be right. You could be right, Ren. Could be right. What's up with Jameis? All right, let's do a new segment. I think I decided to do this kind of way up at the top of the show. Let's see what people are saying out there. We'll just scroll through Twitter here. Should be an interesting feed. Let's see what people say. Greg Allman is noting that when it comes to a strength of victory tiebreaker for the playoffs, Bucs and Packers are so close. The Packers beat teams at 49-62-1, and the Bucs have beat teams at 48-62-1. So we're 1 point off between the two. That does mean the Packers do edge us out, just ever so barely. We got 2 games left, though. We got two games left. 2 games left. See what other people are saying. Somebody says, bench Jameis. It's time for Glennon. What? Somebody else says, you see this shit? Bench Jameis. Guys, that makes me speechless. That makes me speechless. Atlanta Bucs fan Dan is saying Gaz. What does that mean? Bench Gaz? Bring in Wester. I don't, at this point, I've not let this simmer. I've not let this settle. The way I'm feeling right now, bench Gosder. If DeMar is still out next week, let's go with the rookie. Let's go with Mr. Wester. Let's do it. Real Bucks Talk, they tweet out, they say, Dear Lord, Ezekiel Elliott had 23 rushes for 159 yards and 1 touchdown against the Bucs with a long run of 42 yards. L linebackers having a bad day with holes. Getting news on Twitter right now. Will Golston dislocated his elbow. It was popped back in, but he has been in a lot of pain. Of course he was. That's from Rook Stroud over at the Tampa Bay Times. Mike Evans. Mike Evans only had a handful of balls thrown his way. It looks like defenses are continuing to shut him down, or, and I really wonder about this. Is Jameis not watching? Because there was one play. There was a big wide open. I think it might have been a touchdown. Right? It was a touchdown. Mike Evans was open, like way open. But we threw to Humphreys, I think, or something like that. So I don't know. I posed this question on the main episode last week. Is Jameis simply checking out? Is he checking out of Mike Evans too fast? I really wonder. In an attempt to maybe spread the ball around, is he just checking out? It was the overthrow to Hump on the 3rd and goal. Yeah, and talking about that throw to Humphreys 3rd and goal. It wasn't just an overthrow to Hump. He threw it way behind Humphreys too. Yeah, I mean it wasn't just over him. I mean it was behind him. Like it was way off of him. So it was not a great throw. It was not a thread the needle kind of a throw to get him in there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to put this out. Final call. Final call for anybody who wants to call in. The number is 864-729-2827. 864-729-2827, 829-724. Bucs. That's the number. Bucs. All right. I think we'll end it on this. We just kind of started off the show with this a little bit. Let's go back to it. How should we be feeling, guys? How should we be feeling? Coming off the InstantCast show. Coming off the game, really. What are the emotions? You sad? You pissed off? You're frustrated? Hope is a little bit gone? Maybe you're still hopeful. Some people are saying, I'm already over it. Moving on. Got to be over it. Moving on to the Saints. We got them again next week. We're going to their house. Somebody's saying feeling meh. It's wearing off. Guys, here's the thing. Go through whatever emotions you got to go through. Okay? Go through. I think I'm with you guys. I'm feeling kind of meh, but I'm already over it. That's probably good. Yeah. Feeling kind of meh, but I'm already over it. Here's the thing. I'm damn proud of those boys. I mean, we got a lot to clean up. However, in having a lot to clean up, we competed with the best team in our division, or our conference, I guess. Not our division, our conference. You know, we didn't go out and get embarrassed on national TV. We went out and did what we had to do. And you know what? Damn it, we're still in the playoff race. We're still here. We're, 8-6 on the season now. 1-1 in the fourth quarter. We still go 3-1. I think we still make it. And man, John said it in the very first call. We're going to see them in next month. That we're going to see Dallas again next month. I like that. I like that kind of optimism. They're saying Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., open auditions for right tackle at One Buccaneer Place, Tampa, Florida. Maybe I should go down. I played right tackle. I played left tackle too, but I played right tackle. Ooh, I'm a big guy. I'm a big fatty. I could go down there. I could play that. Sure. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, all right, guys. I think we're going to call it for right there, huh? Oh, man. I want to thank everybody who joined us in the chat room tonight. You guys were great. Lots of great conversation heading on over there. I want to encourage everybody, make sure that you are on the lookout for the main episode coming out later this week where we're breaking down things. We'll have a chance to simmer. We'll have a chance to look at all the film and kind of come up with our breakdown. Offense, defense, special teams, of course. And, it should be pretty good. So look out for that coming out this week. Guys, next week, just so you know, it's Christmas Eve. We will not be having an InstantCast show just because I'm going to be with my family. You're going to be with yours. I don't even know that I'll get to watch the game until, midnight or something that night. Maybe Santa and I will hang out and have a brew while we watch the game on DVR. So, well, guys, you guys have been great. Thank you so much. Again, join me. You can get me on email at thepewtercast@gmail.com, Twitter at thepewtercast, other places at thepewtercast. And until next time, guys, go Bucs.